about your stuff. Jen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Alana Baker, and I am the Director of Government Relations with the Hotel Association of Canada, or HAC. Joining me is Xavier Gret, Président Directeur Général de l'Association Hôtellerie Québec, as well as Allison Evans, HAC's Interim President. The Hotel Association of Canada is the leading voice of the Canadian hotel and lodging industry. For over 100 years, we have worked to enhance the prosperity of the industry and the role it plays in Canada's economy. We represent more than 8,200 hotels, motels, and resorts that encompass the $19.2 billion Canadian hotel industry. 304,000 people across Canada work in hotels. We are on Parliament Hill today to release new best practice guidelines for regulating short-term rentals in Canada. This comes as governments at all levels are grappling with the implications of the growing short-term rental industry and platforms like Airbnb. This new piece of research, entitled Developing a Modern Approach to Short-Term Rentals in a Digital Economy, provides Canadian municipalities with an analysis of regulatory developments worldwide and best practice approaches for developing a local framework that works for them. Right now, the short-term rental industry operates with little or no regulation. These online platforms are being used to operate commercial accommodation businesses, resulting in unintended consequences, including lost taxes, less housing, community nuisances, and even criminal activity. These consequences are not unique to one community, but are evident in jurisdictions across Canada. Clearly, there is an acute need for federal, provincial, and municipal governments to put in place a modern framework that will address these consequences, promote fairness, and protect communities. This work is already beginning in Canadian jurisdictions. The provinces of British Columbia and Quebec, as well as the cities of Toronto and Vancouver, have already implemented or passed rules around short-term rental platforms. The City of Ottawa has announced that it will conduct a regulatory review, as have Edmonton, Calgary, and Nova Scotia. Each region is looking to weigh the interests of the traveling public with those of members of the community. This is an important balance. What started as true home sharing has expanded into a growing trend of people using these platforms to become commercial operators. Over the last 2 years, the commercial side of Airbnb's business, those who are renting multi-unit entire homes, grew by 108%. These entire home rentals generated 83% of Airbnb's revenues. Clearly, these are not casual operators. These hosts are running a business and they should have to comply with the same responsibilities as legitimate accommodation businesses. The Hotel Association of Canada and its partners from across the country have examined approaches that have worked in other jurisdictions around the world. From this, we have identified emerging global best practices and developed a proposed framework that outlines regulatory tools that cities can apply to modernize short-term rental accommodations. These include host registration and fees, platform registration and fees, principal residence restriction, caps on usage, health and safety standards, reporting requirements, taxation, and enforcement mechanisms.
Bonjour à tous. Nous sommes aujourd'hui sur la colline parlementaire afin d'annoncer la publication de lignes directrices sur les meilleures pratiques pour régir les locations à court terme au Canada. Cette annonce arrive au bon moment, même qu'à tous les niveaux du gouvernement, tous les gens sont aux prises avec cet effet-là. En effet, on constate que cette industrie florissante des locations à court terme est très importante au Canada. À l'heure actuelle, l'industrie de location à court terme fonctionne avec peu de réglementation. Ce qui a commencé comme un vrai partage de logements est rapidement devenu une tendance grandissante de gens qui utilisent ces plateformes pour devenir des gestionnaires commerciaux. Ceci provoque des conséquences inattendues, telles que la perte de taxes, une réduction de logements disponibles, des nuisances au sein de la communauté et la désertification des centres-villes. Il est absolument nécessaire que les différents paliers de gouvernement, tant au niveau fédéral, provincial que municipal, prennent un moment pour placer un cadre réglementaire et moderne afin d'encourager l'équité et protéger les communautés. Ce faisant, l'industrie de l'hôtellerie a identifié les meilleures pratiques récentes au niveau global et mondial et a développé une structure d'encadrement qui contient les outils de réglementation que les villes peuvent adopter, incluant des inscriptions des hôtes et sur les plateformes, restrictions pour les résidences principales, normes en santé et sécurité, taxes et redevances, et n'oublions pas l'équité fiscale. Une application rigoureuse de ces outils doit être mise en place. Merci.
Canada is in a fortunate position to see what has worked elsewhere, to consider leading and best practices from other jurisdictions and adapt them to our needs. The short-term rental industry should not be exempt from the rules and regulations designed to build successful communities and keep travelers safe. As an industry, we are committed to working alongside all levels of government in Canada to develop a fair, sensible, and practical approach to the short-term rental industry that acknowledges the difference between true home sharing and a commercial operation. Getting this balance right will protect communities and ensure that visitors continue to experience a safe and enjoyable stay. Thank you. We would be happy to take any questions you might have.